Welcome to the UHSAA 3A Baseball State Bracket Reveal Show, brought to you by UCCU on the Mid-Utah Radio Sports Network, TeamHive.Live, powered by Centricom, and also KSL Sports, as we get ready for 3A Baseball State Tournament action with the Super Regionals. Starting this week, it'll be Thursday and Friday with those Super Regional games, and then, of course, moving into the State Tournament starting on Monday at Utah Valley University. Again, I'm Robert Lovell. I'll be bringing you this State Bracket Reveal as we take a look at the 8 matchups in the Super Regionals, the 1 through 16 seeds. And we've got Barrett Hilton on the controls here, bringing you this coverage as well. Appreciate Bo Lund, Joe Williams also on the behind the scenes, making sure things happen right here again on the Mid-Utah Radio Sports Network, Centricom, Team Hive, and KSL Sports. So without any further ado, let's get to the State Tournament bracket. We'll start off at the top of the bracket with the 1-16 seeds, and taking a look at that 1-16 matchup. Canyon View gets the number 1 spot in the 3A State Tournament, as the Canyon View Falcons will be going up against the 16-seeded Ogden Tigers. These two teams did not meet this season, but they will square off on Thursday in Cedar City, and Canyon View, coming out of Region 12, gets that top spot in the RPI. They finished second in the region standings, but come in as the number 1 seed in the 3A State Tournament. So Canyon View gets that number 1 spot. Coming in as the number 2 seed, or excuse me, the number 8 seed 8-9 matchup. This is a very intriguing one as we get Carbon and North Sanpete, 2 Region 12 teams going up against each other. Carbon able to draw the home site. They'll be the home team in this matchup. Should be a fun one here as these two teams split in region play. I think both teams probably feel pretty good about the draw that they got here to try to move into the state tournament, again, starting on Monday at Utah Valley University. So the 8-9 matchup should be a fun one. As we take a look at the next game coming up in the bracket, the 5-12 seed. Again, 2 Region 12 teams here with Manti hosting Emory. This one is also very intriguing as we look at these 2 squads. They also split in Region 12 play this year. The 5-12 matchups are all very, very interesting and should be fun there. As we take a look at our next one, the number 4 seed is the Morgan Trojans. This is a Region 13 matchup. Morgan hosting South Summit in the Super Regional that will start again on Monday. Looking forward to seeing how this one plays out. Morgan, certainly the heavy favorite here as they swept South Summit in Region 13 play this season. So taking a look just at, once again, at the top half of the bracket as we see what things look like here. It is Canyon View again drawing that number 1 seed. This will be bracket 1. If you're unfamiliar with how 3A went to the bracket system last year, the College World Series format, they went to this last year where they have the Super Regionals, the best of 3 series to get into the state tournament. And then when the state tournament starts, everybody starts with 0 wins, 0 losses. And there are 2 4-team brackets that play a double elimination tournament. The winner of each bracket moves on to a best of 3 state championship series. So we've got Canyon View again and Ogden. Canyon View will be the heavy favorite there in that one. Certainly one of the 3 favorites that I have listed on my kind of bracketology going into the state tournament. That Carbon North Sanpete one, again, that one is very interesting to me. I think that's going to be a lot of fun between those 2 teams as you look at how they played earlier this season in region play. In North Sanpete, Carbon won that one 11-4, but in Carbon, North Sanpete won that one 8-0. So 2 very different type of games. As I said, I think both teams probably feel pretty good about that draw, giving them a good opportunity to try to get into the state tournament, but it's a coin toss type of matchup between Carbon and North Sanpete. Manti Emory, very similar. Manti coming in as the number 5 seed. They've played really good baseball over the last month of the season or so. They've gotten significantly better as the year has gone on. But as I said, they also split with Emory during the season. They won at Emory 9-6, but then lost at home to Emory 11-4. And so this is a really intriguing matchup. Emory is a very good 12 seed. They're not your typical 12 seed. I said the 5-12 matchups are all very, very intriguing. Carbon North Sanpete, Manti Emory, two of those matchups that we could see going really either way. You give the edge to the home team in Manti, as they've earned that home spot, but this is going to be a really fun matchup between these two teams, Manti and Emory. And then the final game in that one is Morgan and South Summit. And as we said already, Morgan certainly the heavy favorite there as the 4 seed. They swept South Summit in region play 14-5 and 8-2 were the scores in that one. And so you'd give the edge to the number 4 seeded Morgan Trojans in that top half of the bracket. So that's what the top half of the bracket looks like as we continue on. Let's take a look now at the bottom half of the 3A state tournament bracket, starting with the number 2 seeded Juab Wasp. The winners of Region 12, they swept Canyon View the last week of the regular season to make sure they get that top spot in the region, but they finished behind them in the RPI rankings and come in as the number 2 seed, and they will go up against American Leadership Academy, the Eagles out of Spanish Fork. And this one's fairly intriguing too. I mean, certainly Juab is a heavy favorite coming into this one. These two teams did play once during the season, with Juab winning that matchup 7-0. But ALA's played a lot of the upper competition pretty tight this year. Have had some pretty good games with them. They haven't really gotten blown out a lot. And so this is an intriguing matchup. ALA probably a little better than your normal 15 seed, but certainly still Juab a heavy favorite, as they had a really strong finish to the end of the regular season, beating Canyon View and Manti both twice over the last week to be able to move up from the 3 when things went dark to that number 2 spot in the RPI rankings, and come in as the favorite in that matchup against ALA. Moving on now to the 7-10 matchup, Grantsville and Delta. I was really surprised to actually see Grantsville drop to 7 after beating Union the last week of the season. I thought they'd be in that 6 spot coming into today, but they fall down to the 7 spot, and a loss to Morgan there, critical for them. But Delta comes in as the number 10 seed. Delta got 2 wins over Emory in a doubleheader for their only 2 Region 12 wins. And Grantsville, as I said, got a big win over Union to end the regular season there for them. And so that was crucial for them. But this is an intriguing matchup. Delta's a team that comes into the state tournament with, I think, a lot of people saying, man, to only have that team with 2 wins is surprising. They lose to Juab by 1 run twice. But they still come in with just the 2 wins, falling to North Sanpete to end the regular season on Friday. And so the Delta's obviously trying to show something to prove. Grantsville's been there year in and year out, one of those top teams in 3A. They're one of the teams I have as a dark horse coming into the state tournament that has the potential to make a deep run coming out of that number 7 spot. We saw a team come out of the number 7 spot last year make a deep run. We'll see if Grantsville can do that again this time around. As we continue on the bottom half of the bracket, the 6-11 matchup. Man, this one's interesting. You have Providence Hall earning the number 6 seed, Richfield at the 11 seed. I think Richfield moved up a spot over this last week to get to that 11 seed, and this one makes it very interesting. These two teams played yesterday. Yesterday at Providence Hall is a home game for the Patriots, and Richfield ruled them 10-0, the final in that one. So they've only played once this year, but Richfield just beat them yesterday. They'll play again 2 more times, at least 2 more times, if not 3 more times later on in the week. But if you're Richfield coming in as the 11th seed, you've got to feel really comfortable and really confident going into this series that you've got a great shot to try to get to the state tournament next week, going up against the team you just ruled earlier this week. So it's not like it was earlier in the season. It was just days ago when they meet again on Thursday. It'll just been 3 days since they last played. So that's an intriguing matchup for me as well, that 11 and 6 matchup with Providence Hall and Richfield. I'm not sure. That's one I'm not sure who you favor, because Providence Hall does have some good wins. They beat a Morgan team earlier this week, or this last week, before losing to Richfield. And so it's a Providence Hall team that has some good wins, but they've also lost to a lot of teams that are behind them in the RPI, like Richfield, like Delta. But Providence Hall still earning that 6th seed. And so this is an intriguing matchup to me that I would probably favor Richfield in going into the Super Regional starting on Thursday. And then the final series of the bottom bracket is Union and Judge Memorial, the defending state champion Union Cougars. They come in as the number 3 seed. They dropped a spot the last week with losses to Uinta and Grantsville, but still a very, very good Union team. coming up against a Judge Memorial squad that comes in as the 14 seed. This is another one that's certainly the favorite is Union. As I've said, I've got kind of my three favorites that have been there all season, that have been the most consistent to consistently getting the job done. That's the top three seeds: Canyon View, Juab, and Union. They've been doing it all season long. Yeah, they might have some losses in there that may be surprising. The 1-0 loss for Juab to Carbon, the 1-run loss for Union to Grantsville to end the season. But overall, these teams have been there day in and day out, getting the job done. And so Union's certainly the favorite in that one. So let's take a look at the bottom half of the 3A state baseball bracket. As again, it starts at the top with Juab as the 2 seed. And against ALA, followed by Grantsville Delta in that 7-10 matchup, Providence Hall Richfield at 6-11, and Union Judge Memorial in the 3-14 matchup. There's your bottom half, bracket 2 of the 3A baseball state tournament. And again, the winners all move on to the state tournament starting on Monday at Utah Valley University. Bracket 2 games will actually be the games that will be played first on Monday. Is that we'll go bracket 2 and then go into bracket 1 in the afternoon there at UCCU Ballpark. So there's the way the bracket shakes out as we take a look at the full bracket now, with all 16 teams in the 3A classification coming in here to the state tournament. There's the 2 teams that did not make it in Ben Lomond and Summit Academy, but there's your 16 teams that'll be playing in the 3A baseball state tournament, starting with the Super Regionals this Thursday afternoon, 4 o'clock first pitch on the games on Thursday. Game 2 will be on Friday at 1 o'clock for all the teams, and then the if game will follow if they need game 3. So as we take a look now at the this broadcast and this bracket and the way things have shaked out, let's take a look as we get the coach of the defending state champion Union Cougars, Coach Matt Labrum's going to be joining us. We'll get his thoughts on the bracket and where his team is at and how they have looked so far this season. And so we want to hear from him as we try to get Coach Labrum in to join us here on the show. And Coach, can you hear me okay?
Yes.
All right, let's see. Can we we want to see you, Coach, so we're going to ask you to throw your video on if you can.
All right, let's see if I can figure that out.
We got you okay still?
I'm still here, aren't I?
I can still hear you. Just we don't get to see you yet.
No video. I don't know what's going on.
All right. Well, we'll just do our best to hear what you have to say, to see what you have to say, and be able to look at. Still don't have any video of you, but I've got again just still the audio for you.
Okay.
It looks like it's coming in on your phone. This is where the audio is coming in from.
Okay. I don't know. I can't get it to come up. Sorry.
That's all right. Again, we do have Coach Matt Labrum, the Union Cougars, here on with us on the 3A Bracket Reveal show as we get ready for the 3A Baseball State Tournament. Coach, first off, you guys come in as the number 3 seed. We talked a little bit last night, and that's where you expected to be coming into the state tournament. Are you surprised at all with how the bracket laid out?
As far as the top ones, I think that's where everybody was going to be. I was expecting we would probably play South Summit or ALA, and then Judge jumped in there, so that surprised us a little bit. So we'll get digging on Judge now. So,
what do you know about the Bulldogs this season?
Not much at all. So I'm going to have to do some background search and get with some coaches and see if I can get some scouting reports on them. And see what we can figure out.
I made the comment on Grantsville coming in as a 7 seed that last year's 7 seed made a deep run. Of course, that was you guys ultimately winning the state championship. When you look at your team this year, coming in this time as the 3 seed, no surprise this time, right, that you're one of the favorites coming into it. Do you see any similarities, though, between your team last year and this year coming into the state tournament?
Excited about our opportunity and the opportunity to compete. The difference is last year we won the whole thing, and so now the pressure's on this year. And I think we felt that a little bit as we've kind of gotten here towards the end, feeling a little more pressure of we have to do this and we got to do this instead of just enjoying the opportunity to compete and kind of see what happens and where we're going to go. But really like our group. We have a lot of guys back that have some experience from last year, and we're excited for this opportunity. We're excited to meet Judge on Thursday and see what happens from there.
We going into last year, felt like it was a pretty young team. A lot of sophomores playing key roles for you last season. Of course, you'd had some key seniors. Peyton Marks had just an incredible state tournament for you. You had the Franson brothers getting the job done. Then you had a freshman. I hope I remember how to pronounce his name. Dylan Wadahamaji came in and just threw lights out for you in the state tournament last season. So when you look at this year's squad, though, with that experience, who are some of those guys that might be a surprise that might be able to step up and be a big player for you this next week?
Well, first of all, good job on pronunciation of Wadahamaji. Took me a long time to get that. So, and obviously he's one of our guys. He's been one of our top two pitchers. Him and Ryan Oakey, both sophomores, have done a good job for us on the mound. Chase Nilsson, senior for us. He's been a kind of a guy that's played multiple positions, but he's pitched some good innings for us this year. Tyson Marks has also pitched some good innings for us. And then Gannon Labrum will come off the bench or out of the bullpen to pitch for us. And Cy Burchell, Brennan Meekum, if his arm heals up, and he's had a little bit of a sore arm, so if we get him healed up, he'll be another guy that will step in. But a lot of the same guys. Hayden Rich, our catcher, was there last year. Just a solid guy behind the plate. Does a tremendous job for us. So, we like the guys that we have. The key is that we're playing at our best when it's needed. So.
Clearly, I wasn't in the dugout or clubhouse or those kind of things with your team, but from the on-field perspective, it looked like Peyton Marks last year as that senior is the one that kind of took control for your team and was that senior leader. Who do you look at this year as that on-field captain for you, just to kind of keep everybody where they need to be and make sure he's leading the way?
Peyton, tremendous leader. That's big holes to fill as far as his leadership and stuff. And so, this year, our two captains are Chase Nilsson and Gannon Labrum, as voted on by their teammates. And so we look to those two to try to, just steady the tide and keep us going and doing those things that we do well. So.
What do you think is the biggest key for your team to have the opportunity to try and repeat?
I think it always comes down. What set us apart last year, I thought, was our pitching, and I think it's going to come down to that. Guys that are going to throw strikes, and then when you can come up with clutch hits and key hits and in those moments and drive the ball and make the plays that need to be played. If you can make the routine plays, you can throw strikes, and you can hit the ball hard, you have a good chance of winning.
Coach, as you look at the bracket and the way it's laid out right now, 5 through 12 to me has been just a coin toss all season long. Those 7 teams have been, it's just been amazing to see, or those 8 teams, I guess, have been amazing to see how much back and forth there's been in the rankings and how they've bounced around all over the place. It was really kind of a mystery to see who was going to end where. When you look at the matchups in this year's state tournament, are there ones that stand out to you as intriguing series?
Well, yeah, I think any of them are tough. You look at all these teams. You look at Manti's at 5. Sounds like they're hitting the ball really well from the things that I'm looking at. Providence Hall goes up and gets Morgan here at the end of the season and puts up 13 runs. So, they're going to be solid. Grantsville got us in this last week. They've really come on strong, and their pitching they do a good job with their pitching, and they're hitting the ball well. I'm hearing a lot of good things about Carbon. So Carbon and North St. Pete, I think that's a big one. Grantsville and Delta will be a good matchup, and Providence Hall, Richfield's going to be another one. Sounds like Manti's hitting the ball really well too. So.
As you look at, so let's talk about some of those other favorites coming into the state tournament. As we mentioned, of course, your team right there, Canyon View Juab are the 1 and 2 seeds. You got to see Juab this season in a close game down in St. George. But what do you know about those two squads, and what are you expecting to see out of them?
Well, first off, I know that they're both coached really well. Jason at Canyon View, Jacobson, tremendous coach, done a great job for multiple years, 20 plus years. there, and Josh at Juab's tremendous. And so I know they're coached well. They're going to be disciplined, and I know that they have some great talent, and they're going to be tough on the mound, and they're going to be tough outs in the box. And they're going to put the ball in play, and you got to be able to make plays. And then you got to be able to hit their pitching. And I think that's the big thing, is making sure that, you stay within what you do best. And as long as you find out and you do what you do best, then you have a good chance. But, Canview and Juab are top-notch programs, and have been and will continue to be for a long time. They have a good baseball future.
Once again, Coach Matt Labrum with us here on the 3A Bracket Reveal Show as we get ready for the 3A Baseball State Tournament. The Super Regionals starting on Thursday. They'll be Thursday and Friday, with the state tournament beginning on Monday. With that, the way the Super Regionals are lined up this year, Coach, what's your idea of how you want to handle your pitching staff, knowing that if you pitch on Friday, you won't be available to pitch on Monday. If you pitch over 86 pitches, at least on Friday, that Monday you wouldn't be available. How do you handle the Super Regionals while also trying to make sure you're ready for Monday without overlooking the Super Regional?
Yeah, I think the big thing is you can't overlook it. And so, we've got to win the Super Regional in order to play on Monday. So that's what we're going to do, is we got to take care. We got to win game one on Thursday, and we're going to go with our guys and get their work in and do what we need to do, and whatever the game dictates, then that's what we'll do with our pitching. But if you overlook, then I think you're in trouble, and so we don't ever want to do that. We're going to go with our guys and see what happens.
One of the crucial things, looking back to last year again, Coach, I felt like was, I think Peyton Marks beat Juab with like 70 pitches at the state tournament, and in 7 innings. Do you have a guy that can be that efficient again this year?
If we do, they haven't showed that yet. So that was just incredible. I think he went 71 pitches in one game and went 74 in the other, and so that was just unbelievable and pretty much unheard of. So. I don't know that we have that guy this year.
Like I said, that's pretty well unheard of, pretty rare thing, that's for sure. Well, Coach, I know you've got classes and things to get back to, and we'll let you get with your students, but we appreciate you taking the time, and we'll wish you luck on Thursday, and we'll hope to see you on Monday up at UVU.
Yeah, thank you, Robert. I appreciate it, and appreciate all the work that you guys do, and we look forward to being able to compete in this 3A bracket, and we're excited to get going on Thursday.
All right. Once again, Coach Matt Labrum. Coach, thanks again for hopping on.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
There's Coach Labrum of the Union Cougars. Again, the 3A defending state champion Union Cougars as they get set and ready to go for the 3A baseball state tournament, starting with the Super Regionals on Thursday and Friday. And then again, the state tournament getting underway on Monday at Utah Valley University. Barrett, let's take another look at the bracket again as we look at some of these key matchups and these key players that we'll have competing in this state tournament. As we look at these teams, Canyon View comes in as that number 1 seed. Guys like Bubba Ludlow and Asher Slack and Zach Main and Brady Anderson. This is a very tough team. They were consistent all year long. They looked like they were the team to beat. Then, of course, they dropped 2 the last week to Juab, but Canyon View has been very good all season long. Juab, of course, they come in with the best player in the state, regardless of classification. They've got Austin Park, whether he does it from shortstop or on the mound. Austin Park is one of those premier players, but it's not just him for Juab. This is a very good team. Connor Callan has been incredible again this season. He's been huge. Luke Morostica coming in now as a sophomore, had a big 3-run home run yesterday for Juab. He's going to be a big player for them. And Kai Hansen behind the plate has been huge as well. They've got Trevin Park hitting out of that leadoff spot. And then Corbin Buchanan on the mound has been very good. Porter Howard, it's a very good Juab team as well. And they've got some guys that have stepped up in big roles in state tournaments in years past that we haven't seen maybe have that breakout year now this year, but they're guys that are always dangerous as well. So that Juab again, looks very, very good. And then, of course, Union, we just heard Coach Labrum talking about it. His son, Gannon Labrum, one of the premier outfielders in all of 3A. And Chase Nelson at shortstop. Hayden Rich was so fun to watch last year coming out of that catcher spot. And then Cade Franson, Peyton Marks, Ryan Oakey. I mean, it's a very good team. Those top three teams are just loaded with guys. And then, as Coach Labrum said, he talked about how well Canyon View and Union are coached. Coach Labrum, one of the premier coaches in all of baseball as well throughout the state. And so the very good coaching all the way around. Morgan is a team that's kind of come in as a team that a lot of people have said they can hit. The question is, will they be able to pitch to get those really good teams? And so that maybe be the question mark for the 4 seed. I think they've got a great draw going in the Super Regional. A team that we should certainly see in the state tournament is Morgan. But that'll be maybe that question mark for me is, are they going to be able to pitch to get in and make the deep run in the state tournament? But it's a good Morgan team as well. Manti and Emory, as I've already said, this is an incredible matchup. You've got Lane Cox and Kellen Lund that have had such great seasons for the Templars hitting, and then Cox along with Chase Kiesel and some others on the mound have really gotten the job done. Tage Hill's kind of a wild card. He doesn't have the best average this season, but he's a guy that on any given day can go off, whether it's hitting or pitching for the Manti Templars. And Emory's a very good team. I did a game in Emory this year where Juab had him up. Juab was up on him 4 or 5 runs, and Emory came storming back and ended up being a 1-run game. 7-6 was the final on that one. And so this is an Emory team that is very good. They're a better than your normal 12 seed are the Emory Spartans. So I'm looking forward to seeing how that matchup plays out. Trevin Gilbert's had a great season again for the Spartans as well. And then, as I said, as you look at the 6-11 matchup, this one is very intriguing to me between Richfield and Providence Hall, that I might even give Richfield the edge on that one. I could see the Wildcats ultimately coming away prevailing in that one. But Providence Hall, as you just heard Coach Labrum say, they went on the road and got a big win over Fort Morgan. And so you can't count out Providence Hall by any means. And Richfield's been very kind of inconsistent and streaky, but when they're on, they're a very good team as well. And then Grantsville Delta. This one's, as I said, I was surprised Grantsville fell to 7. I thought they were going to be in that 6th spot. And so Delta going on the road to Grantsville. It's the west side of I-15. They're competing to try to get into the state tournament. That should be a fun matchup. I like what Delta brings in guys like Roper Crane, just a guy that's a competitor. He's there to get the job done. And I know Coach Webb likes what he brings to the table. That should be a fun series as well. And then that 8-9 matchup is just a coin toss. All those ones are coin tosses. The 5-12, 6-11, 7-10, and 8-9, I could see all of those going either direction. And Carbon, North Sanpete, as we said already, they split during Region 12 play. And, V-Hill has had a great season on the mound for the Dinos. You look at North Sanpete, and they bring out those 2 lefties. Hudson Smith has had an incredible year. Peyton Rostron has pitched well. And so that's going to be a fun matchup there between Carbon and North Sanpete as well. But there's a look again at your 3A state tournament bracket. Our coverage on Centricom at Team Hive, the Mid-Utah Radio Sports Network, and KSL Sports. So it will be wall-to-wall all next week, starting on Monday with the 11 o'clock game at Utah Valley University's UCCU ballpark. Of course, we will have some games for you in the Super Region as well. On the Mid-Utah Radio Sports Network, we'll bring you the Manti-Emory series Thursday and Friday. And so make sure we have that coverage for you. But we've also got going on, especially on the Team Hive KSL Sports side, is we'll have 2A state baseball happening Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and 2A, 3A state softball happening Thursday, Friday, and Saturday as well. Busy weekend this week for the guys that are all involved with that. A lot of people help make those things possible, and so we'll look forward to, again, some great games and some great state tournaments happening over the course of the next 2 weeks. So there's your 3A state bracket, again, brought to you by UCCU here on the Mid-Utah Radio Sports Network, Centricom, Team Hive, and KSL Sports. And we'll be ready to bring you that coverage starting on Thursday with the Super Regionals. And that's going to pretty well do it for us here on the State Tournament Bracket Reveal Show. Once again, I'm Robert Lovell. Appreciate Barrett Hilton, Joe Williams, and Bo Lund, all behind the scenes making this broadcast possible. And again, a big shout out to Coach Matt Labrum of the Union Cougars for hopping on with us as well and bringing us his thoughts and his vision of what he sees happening at the 3A State Tournament. That'll do it for me. I'm Robert Lovell. Thank you for listening and watching as we look forward to more state tournament baseball here on the Mid-Utah Radio Sports Network, Centricom, Team Hive, and KSL Sports.